morning everyone. It is a beautiful, beautiful morning this morning, dare I say it. We actually have sunshine in Manchester, so I'm really hoping we get a chance to get outside today and just make the most of that. I just want to spend a little bit of time talking over the next couple of days about spending time on your own and doing things on your own and living alone and all of that sort of thing, because as you probably realised by now, that is something that I do a lot of. And I know most of you will know my circumstances with my fiance living on the other side of the world and all of my friends and family living sort of like 3 hours down south. But the result of that is obviously I do spend the majority of my time on my own and doing things on my own. I've really found ways to make that sort of situation work for me, and just found ways to really enjoy myself and be happy on my own. So I thought we could just, like I said, spend some time together over the next couple of days. And I know you see a lot of me doing things on my own, but I guess I never really talk about it. So we're just gonna vlog, but I'll just chat to you a bit more. So today we've got I'm not making my breakfast at all, am I? I don't think I can do 2 things at once. I'm not very good at multitasking. Let me just finish what I'm saying, because I'm going to be quick. So today is more of just like a normal day at home when I've got the day off, and just how I keep myself busy and happy and the things that I enjoy doing when it's just a really chilled day at home when I've got no plans. And then tomorrow is sort of like a bit of a busier day, but still doing things alone. And I thought I'd talk to you about kind of feeling more confident in social situations like that, especially if you're on your own. And then tomorrow afternoon, we're actually driving down to the Cotswolds. It'll be mostly in next week's video in terms of like house updates and things like that. But tomorrow in particular, I am staying in a hotel, but I'm doing it on my own, and I'll have dinner on my own and that sort of thing. Again, all things that I've got very used to, and we'll chat about that tomorrow. But for now, I'm going to actually make my breakfast. I thought I'd show you what I've been having for breakfast recently, because I'm having this every single morning, and I think honestly a huge part of being happy with spending time on your own is all about finding joy in what could be seen as otherwise kind of mundane, run-of-the-mill things. So for example, my little morning ritual of coming down to the kitchen, popping the radio on, making myself a big cup of tea, and then making this porridge recipe that I've been having every day really makes me happy. And I could just see that as like, oh, gotta go downstairs and make my breakfast now. But I suppose it's kind of like a perspective thing, but I really enjoy it, and I really take it as a moment of just peace and calm in my morning, a little bit of like me time. So I thoroughly look forward to it. And I think popping the radio on as well, I think it's quite nice to just have some background noise if you are waking up in a house that's obviously otherwise silent, apart from Brew. Brew is great company. Having a dog is great company when you live on your own. These are so good. I get them on avocado, and the strawberries are all chopped up, which is so handy. And then I have these organic summer berries, blueberry, raspberry, and blackcurrant. And they're what I put into my porridge in the morning. I nearly forgot to tell you my secret ingredient, which is cinnamon. When I was in the US last month, whenever I ordered porridge in the morning, it always came kind of as standard with cinnamon in, and it's so good. So I've started adding cinnamon in every single morning, and it really makes such a difference. It's so nice. Getting changed to take Rue out for her morning walk, which she is impatiently waiting for right here and wondering if I can hurry up. But I just wanted to quickly talk to you about one of the products that I use in my everyday routine, because over the last couple of years or so, I've really been making a conscious effort to swap out products to make them more natural in every single area of my life, from obviously all the food that I eat, which we talk about a lot, but also to the products that I use on my body, everything from my skincare to my makeup and things like that. It's just something that's become really important to me, which I'm sure you probably know because it's something I talk about a lot. And one of the products that I've always felt is so important to sort of use a more natural alternative for is your deodorant. The deodorant I've been using for the last couple of years is Wild, who are also partnering with me on this part of the video. When Wild reached out to work together, it was an immediate yes. Like I said, I've already been using their products for a couple of years. Using a natural deodorant is something that my mum actually taught me was really important when I was young, just because of sort of all of the glands in that area and how sensitive that area can be and that sort of thing. She's always used natural deodorants her whole life, and she uses Wild now, just like I do. So Wild deodorants are made with safe natural ingredients. They have no harsh chemicals, no aluminium salts, no parabens, and they have ingredients like shea butter and coconut oil. So they're really nourishing on the skin. They're suitable for all skin types, and they're also cruelty-free and vegan. They also still offer 24-hour protection, so you're not kind of compromising on the effectiveness. One of the absolute best things about them is they smell so good. I think there's 16 different scents. This one is Santorini Sunset. I would wear this as a perfume. It is so, so good. They have a few limited edition ones, and Santorini Sunset is one of them. Oh my goodness, I wish you could smell this because it's so good. I also wish they would make it into a perfume because it smells that good. I just love them. And I think what's really different is how much they care about sustainability. So these little aluminium cases are completely reusable. You just replace the deodorant kind of insert when you run out. And so far they've saved over 200 tons of single-use plastic from going into landfill, which I just think is so important. Oh, Rue's getting angry at somebody. No, Rue's just having a bit of a shout at somebody, but the products are available worldwide, and they have things like a subscription service just to make it really easy and convenient. So I also have a code for 20% off, which is Hannah2024. I will pop a link here on screen and also all of the details down in the description box. So if you want to try Wild, you can use that code. So I am going to get this little monster who's shouting at somebody out of the window out on a lovely long walk. So let's go. We've just finished a lovely long walk, and I just wanted to sit and chat to you for a second about something I was thinking about on the walk, which is hobbies. I dreaded hearing that word growing up. It was something you're always asked about as a child, like what are your hobbies? And like in French lessons and stuff, you would have to, you know, write down what your hobbies are and that sort of thing. And I suppose I always had this feeling that I didn't have any hobbies, or that the hobbies that I did have, or the things that I enjoyed, didn't really count as valid hobbies. I suppose because I think you're kind of presented in school with this unspoken list of what hobbies are, and they're normally sports or something musical or something like painting and drawing, something sort of artistic. And I never really fit into one of those categories. I wasn't that sporty. I never really stuck with a musical instrument. I tried a few, but I never really stuck with one. So I think whenever that question came up, I kind of felt like I didn't have a good enough answer for it. But now that I'm older, I realise that that's just not the way that it actually is at all. Your hobbies are really just anything that you choose to do in your spare time that bring you enjoyment. So for me, I suppose my hobbies are the simple things in life. They're walking, they're reading, baking, cooking, quiet evening in my kitchen with a glass of wine, maybe like Bridgerton. I'm so into Bridgerton at the moment. Forgot to tell you that on here. I spoke about it on Instagram. Started watching it. I'm now almost finished with season 3. Have loved it. But yeah, putting an episode of, say, like Bridgerton on, or just music on in the background, glass of wine, cook myself some dinner. That's what brings me joy. A lot of the time, if you say to somebody else that you've got to spend time alone, or your circumstances are changing and you're going to live on your own, or that sort of thing, people would say, that's great, you've got more time to spend on your hobbies. And that never really meant anything to me until I realised that all the things that I enjoy are hobbies. Yeah, I just wanted to say that because I was thinking about it. But funnily enough, we are going to spend the afternoon doing all of those simple things that I enjoy. So I think we're going to pop to a bookshop, and then later on we'll cook some dinner together. We'll make that really lovely butterbean dish that I was going to make last week. So yeah, let's get going. Now you might be wondering, did you actually need any more books, or do you in fact have a to be read entire bookshelf basically downstairs? That would be a valid question, because technically no, I don't need any new books, but I feel like reading is a good habit that should be encouraged, and there's just something about bookshop, I can't deny myself a book when I see it in a bookshop. So this is a pretty mixed bunch of books. So first of all, I picked up To Paradise by okay, that's ambitious. The same author as A Little Life, let's just go with that. I have to be honest, the compelling reason that I picked this up is because I adored A Little Life, and it's something that's really stayed with me and I really think about, and the kind of book that I was setting my alarm an hour early for and going to bed at honestly like 1 in the morning because I just could not put it down. So I think her writing is gorgeous, so I thought I'd try another book of hers. Gonna be completely honest, not even too sure what this one is about. I did read this one line on the back, which is just a review from The Observer, which says, "I'm not sure I've ever missed the world of a book as much as I missed To Paradise now that I've left it." And that has sold me on it. So I'll let you know how I go with that one when I get around to it. Okay, so the next book I picked up is called Wilding. I need to put this tea down. This is non-fiction, and it says on the front, "The Return of Nature to a British Farm." It's basically an account of a couple whose farm had been really intensively farmed, as so many farms are now, but to the point where the soil had almost become like unusable. They then embark on this journey of rewilding their farm to kind of bring the health back to the soil. In 2000, Isabella Tree and her husband Charlie took a spectacular leap of faith and handed their 3,500 acres back to nature. With minimal human intervention and with herds of free-roaming animals stimulating new habitats, their land is now heaving with life. And then it just goes on to talk about all of the sort of really rare species that are now on their land and how biodiverse their land is. One of the reviews, for example, says, "This must be the most inspirational nature book of the year, a narrative of conservation, courage, vision and miracles." I think this will combine all of the things I really care about, and it's obviously set in the English countryside, which we all know I love. So again, a big switch. I picked up The Miniaturist. I don't know if you can see the cover very well from there, but honestly, who could not pick this book up? But I mostly went with this because it's set in 1686, and we all know my love for a book that's kind of set at some point in history. This is set, I believe, in Amsterdam. On an autumn day in 1686, 18-year-old Nella arrives at a grand house in Amsterdam to begin her new life as the wife of a wealthy merchant. And then it goes on to say she uncovers secrets of her new household and realises the danger that they're in. So it sounds like it might be a really lovely one for autumn, if it's potentially set in autumn. And then moving on, this one I've wanted to pick up for a while is Norwegian Wood by Murakami. It's just a book that I've heard an awful lot about. Again, I'm not really entirely sure on the plot. I think the writing's meant to be great, and it's just a book I've heard a lot about, and that is also sort of a different topic to the books that I normally read, which I think is nice. I did actually want to pick up a book that's kind of in the thriller sort of genre, a little bit like when I read The Silent Patient, because I really enjoyed that and I loved the way I just kind of tore through that book. I read it in one plain journey, as I've said. So if anybody's got any recommendations for really good books that kind of sit in like the page turner, mystery, thriller sort of thing, but not scary, we don't want anything too scary, then let me know, because I'd love to pick up one of those as well. Because I think sometimes with reading, the key is variety. You don't want to read too many books in a row that are too similar. I like to keep switching the pace between completely different types of books. I'm really excited to read this Wilding book, actually. That sounds really interesting. I'm actually going, obviously, to the Cotswolds tomorrow. I feel like it might be a nice book to read when I'm down there, because I'm down there for a good few days. Yeah, that's everything that I picked up, so I think I'm going to go ahead and make a start on dinner. Okay, so we have our shallots, we have some garlic, we have some fennel, green beans, slices of sourdough. I am also going to add in some tofu. I've just cubed this really small. We of course have our butter beans, which are somewhere, and we will need some veg stock too, but I'll pop the recipe in the description anyway. I haven't even made it to the table. It is so delicious, and this is one of the absolute best things. One of my favorite things about living on my own and spending time on my own is that I get to experiment with recipes that I wouldn't want to cook for other people until I tried them. So you can just experiment more, and it means occasionally you get to discover a delicious new dinner. So I'll leave all of the recipe details in the description. It's so healthy as well. There's like a whole leek in here. It's just so yum. So I'm gonna go and enjoy this. Oh, good morning everyone. I've been running around this morning like a headless chicken, just trying to get everything packed and organised for this afternoon. And I wanted to take Rue out as well before I went to the event, which is where we're going to now. So the event that I'm going to this morning is at my Pilates studio. It's a collaboration between my Pilates studio and William Wood mirrors, which all of the mirrors in my house, like the arch mirrors, they're all William Wood mirrors. So it's a really gorgeous collaboration. So I think we're doing a Pilates class and then we've got brunch. So it sounds gorgeous. But obviously I'm going to this event on my own. So I thought we'd have a quick chat about that. Because it's something that I have got much better at. I used to absolutely dread going to an event if I didn't have anyone to go with. And I still do find it daunting. I think there's just something human about that walking into a room full of people that you don't know, or you don't know if you'll know, when you're on your own, can just feel a little bit daunting. A lot of it honestly comes back to being children in the playground and not wanting to be the one that has nobody to play with. I think it's that feeling that's at play. But then I just realised whenever I do go to events and I see girls that have gone there on their own, the only thing I ever think about them is, wow, you're so confident. Wow, good for you for not letting like social pressures and worrying what other people will think stop you from, you know, getting yourself out there and going to events. And that's the only thought I ever have about them. I never ever would think, oh, you're weird because you're here on your own. So it made me realise that probably if I'm at an event on my own, nobody's thinking that either. They're probably thinking the same as I do. And even if they are thinking, oh, you know, what a loser, she's on her own, that says more about them than it says about me. And I don't think this feeling is unique to going to an event like this. I think it's the same for so many things, like whether there's a concert you want to go to but nobody else is free, or parties, or just anything, or even if you just want to go out for dinner on your own, which we're doing later, by the way. I'm taking myself for dinner, so I'll take you there with me too, back in the Cotswolds. I think all of the fear comes from what other people think, which really should be the least of our concerns. Most of the time, everybody is just worrying about themselves rather than you anyway. But all of that being said, I'm still human, so these things still make me feel a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's good to constantly push ourselves, you know, a little bit here and there. Okay, I've just got back to the hotel. I'm in a very cozy little cocoon on the bed. So just got back from dinner. I was really silly and I didn't think about the fact that it is Thursday evening. It's a really gorgeous day, like full sunshine, about 28 degrees this evening, and I hadn't booked a table for dinner, which is completely my own fault and just really silly. So obviously everywhere was full, but it worked out fine. I ended up just going to the Wild Rabbit, which is around the corner from the Fox. It's near to Dalesford in Kingham, and I just sat outside in their garden so I could have their kind of bar snack menu. But there was loads on there. There was like fries and salads and all of that stuff, so it worked out completely fine. And I got to sit outside and enjoy the warm weather for a change, and I had a glass of wine. And then my parents actually came and met me because they live just like round the corner from here. And so we all had a drink together, and then they've actually taken Rue home with them because Rue cannot be separated from Poppy, who's their dog. So Rue's gone for a sleepover with Poppy and her grandparents, essentially. And then I'm actually staying at their house for the rest of the weekend. But my parents very newly moved into that house. They're in a new house, basically. And they are like renovating it and working on it and all of that sort of thing. So I think literally tomorrow the bed arrives for me to sleep in. So tonight there's no bed there for me, essentially. That's why I'm staying here. But it's actually a really lovely treat anyway to just have this gorgeous room. I think tomorrow, which will be in next week's vlog, I'll do a proper room tour because this room deserves a room tour and all the details and things. And it's a Dalesford pub as well, so they've got all the Dalesford products. But I'll show you all of that in what will be next week's vlog, but I'll film it first thing tomorrow morning, basically. I'll give you all the latest on the house situation and kind of where we're up to with that and what we're doing. As for this week, I'm going to leave today's video here. I hope it's given you an insight into sort of what I do with my time and how I make the most out of my time when I'm on my own. And I also really hope that if you're watching this and you're in a position that maybe your circumstances are changing, or maybe you've recently become single, or something in your life is changing anyway, that means you are going to spend lots more time on your own. I really hope that I can just reassure you that it's not all bad, and actually I love spending time on my own, and I think there are so many amazing things that can come from getting to spend so much time with yourself. And yeah, that was kind of my aim with this video, just to show that it's not as daunting as it might seem, because I was in that position obviously 6 months ago, of wondering how I'd cope with it. But it turns out it's not all bad, and I'm actually really happy, and I find lots of ways to keep myself busy and happy and all of that sort of thing. So I'm going to stop talking now because I'm literally going to see first thing tomorrow morning, but in next week's video, and we'll have plenty to chat about then. So I hope you have the best week ever. Thank you so much for being here, and I can't wait to catch up next week. So I'll see you then. Bye guys.